in most general case. The maximal generality, the maximal regularity means simply that if you have a sum of two operators, if you have this kind of equation where x and y are in a set A, which may be, which can maybe or perhaps a Banach space or a general set. To say that we have the maximal regularity or the solution of this equation is ML means that the solution X of this equation belongs to domain of the two operators. The most interesting case is the linear case where A and B are defined on a domain which is a subset of a Banach space E. How to explain this characteristic or this property of maximal regularity? If you have the domain of A here, domain of B, the problem has the maximal regularity means that you can find the solution X here in the intersection of the two domains. And I will explain this in words of Mr. Abbas as we have seen at the morning. For the talk of Mr. Mahdi at the morning, we treat the problem U dot plus AU, which merely A depends on time in the non-autonomous case, is equal to F, which belongs to L0, Tx, or A if E is a Banach space. And what does it mean? The maximal regularity of the operator A, that means that the solution of this problem belongs to the space of maximal regularity of appropriate operators, which I will explain now. What's the operator A? What's the operator B? First, I began by B, which is the operator defined on, if A is defined on the two Banach space E, and D is assumed to be densely and continuously embedded in X. That means if I define the operator B from LP 0T A to LP 0T A with domain D de B is equal to U, which are in W and P, the Sobolev space. That means the functions or the mappings which are in LP, but their derivative is also in LP, such that UI, if T varies on subinterval of 0T, subinterval AB, and UA is equal to 0. And I define A, capital A, from LP0T D. D is the domain of the operator, to LP0T D with the full domain here. The domain is LP0T, is LP0T D. This equation, the star equation, is equivalent to what? A squared applied to U plus B applied to U is equal to F. and the maximal regularity will be equivalent to the invertibility of the sum A plus B. If A plus B is invertible, the solution will be given by E plus B minus 1 applied to F. The maximal regularity, that means that this U, the solution of this problem, is in the intersection of the two domains of B and A. That means that it belongs to W1P, the intersection of this one, W1P of 0T A, intercept with LP0TD, which Mr. Abbas, who in the literature, all people denotes the space M. Good. Alors, this introduction explains, in other words, the property of maximal regularity in the general case. We will see the purpose of Mr. Abbas at the morning when he spoke about the derivative of U. He denoted it U prime or U does, it's the same. And A applied to U are assumed to have the same regularity as F. It's the same equivalent. Good. Well, if it's not clear, you can simultaneously ask. Good. Now, I'll explain the aim of my talk. The aim of my talk is to prove, not simply but otherwise, the purpose of Arendt, Abbas, and Deer in their paper on 2014. We will prove the maximal regularity of this problem. It's the problem of it's a Cauchy problem in the non-autonomous case when the operators AT arises, they are arises from forms, ciscalinear forms. That means that for each T, the operator AT is associated to the form AT. In this case, we will prove the A2 maximal regularity, but in the space MR VV prime, like this. Good. Alors, we will prove the maximal regularity in the space MR 0T V prime. That means that in the impedance of the morning, where V is embedded in H and H is identified with its dual, H may be embedded in V prime, where V prime is the dual of V. The classical question is if we can continue this impedance. The answer is negative. That means that V prime can't be embedded in H prime because the identification leads to contradiction. At the morning we have seen a proof exposed by Mr. Abbas to prove this maximal regularity. Here we will see another proof with direct and is constructive. That means that we will prove the existence of the solution in the space MR not by tools of in general or abstract existence, but we will construct the sequence which will converge in some sense to the solution of the problem. Alors, I recall some definitions as we have seen at the morning. The ciscollinear form is bounded here, that means that is bounded, the continuity, and the uniform continuity with the same constant m for each t. Here, the coercivity, as is written and explained the morning, but here, in the third slide, I will explain why we may choose omega is equal to 0, thanks to Riskai. This theorem, the null theorem, is due to Lyon's and proved. We have seen the morning the proof of this theorem. Here we will give an approximate and another method which will construct a sequence U lambda of this problem, which will converge to the solution U of the problem 1. For me, the problem 1 is the initial problem solved by Lyon's via this theorem. Alors, here I construct an approximate non-autonomous problem, but they are piecewise. That means that our function A is piecewise non-autonomous. It's constant on subintervals of 0t. The choice of AK on the lambda k present the subinterval lambda k plus 1 is very, very important. And it will be very important in the stochastic case when the integral depends merely and continuously with the constant which I chose in this subinterval. In the deterministic case, which is our, the problem is not the constant which we take over this interval, but it's proven in the green book of Arendt, Laplace transform, that the choice of AK is essential. It's important because the A lambda, the A wage or A lambda, maybe doesn't converge to A. What is A is the operator associated to the form as explained by Mr. Matti on V' and not on H. But we will also, by the same tool, prove that we have the maximal regularity on H. We consider the subdivision of the interval 0t, and one may consider just a subinterval AB, like here. I don't know where I writing the AB. I don't see. Just one subinterval AB of 0t, or 0t, the whole 0t, the horizon. If we choose this subdivision, we can construct a lambda which is constant on chaque subinterval, but we choose the mean of the operators on lambda k, lambda k. If we don't choose the mean, I recall that this sequence of A lambda may not converge to 8. But we have it's proved in a paper of Lasri and Ilmenawi that this choice of AK allows the convergence to the family, the initial family A. For this problem, the approximate problem, we have proved this lemma. This lemma is an a priori estimate of the solution on the space V. and which allows to extract a subsequence of on lambda which converge to the solution. Alors, this lemma is proved in the case in which omega is chosen equal to 0, and I told that it's possible to choose omega is omega equal to 0 thanks to this change of function. If we consider v lambda is equal to this exponential minus omega t, and we can prove that v lambda is a solution with omega is equal to 0. It's for the correspondence semigroup, it's just a rescale. It's a multiplication by exponential minus omega t multiply with the correspondence semigroup. Just a rescale. Good. Alors, which is new here, that it's just that the solution lambda is given explicitly for the approximation problem. We have constructs this solution. It's given by P lambda. What is P lambda? Is this product of semigroup. This product of semigroup leads to, it's not a new theory, it's a general theory of integral product developed by Vito Volterra and initiated by Volterra and developed recently by Lasry and Lemenawi to solve otherwise some evolution equations. And here, these products converge in some sense, and the integral product solves exactly the initial problem one. We will see how this solution, which is given explicitly this, converge to the exactly solution. Excuse my French here. I wanted to write a proof. Good. If you want, if I want to give a sketch of the proof, it suffices to prove this equality, which is immediate from the definition of u lambda and the product of duality here. This equality allows to say that this derivation, if f is equal to 0, it's that this derivation is negative. In the homogeneous case means just that f is equal to 0. If we integrate this equality, which is evident and explained, we can do the calculation, it's very easy. If we integrate it on 0t, we obtain this result. And then we can apply Young inequalities and some classical inequalities such AB is less or equal to 1 on 2 A square plus B square. We can prove the desired estimation, this one. That means that our estimation is a direct consequence of this one. Good. Alors, this lemma allows to prove this theorem, which give another proof of the Lyon's problem posed by Lyon's. How? It suffices to prove that the hour sequence of E lambda, which is the solution of the approximate problem, converges to U, which is the solution of the problem 1 posed by Lyons.